In the quiet morning of a sleepy town, Jamol's rage echoed, shattering the serene silence. His last Oreo cookie was gone. In the heart of suburban tranquility lived Jamol, an everyday lad with an extraordinary fondness for Oreo cookies. To him, these weren't just cookies, they were morsels of happiness, wrapped in dark chocolate and cream. But on this fateful day, his world turned upside down. His last Oreo was missing, a disappearance that sparked a fury in him like no other. Imagine the calm before a storm. That was Jamol's home that morning. The sun was just peeking over the horizon, casting long shadows and bathing the house in an amber glow. The scent of freshly brewed coffee wafted through the house, a typical start to a typical day. But what followed was anything but typical. Jamol's wrath was a force to be reckoned with. His anger, a fiery inferno, was ignited by the loss of his beloved cookie. His family, unsuspecting and unprepared, bore the brunt of his rage. His fury shook the very foundation of their home, a quake of wrath that echoed through the rooms, rattling windows and trembling walls. His rage was a tempest, a whirlwind of fury and frustration that swept through the house, leaving a trail of shock and disbelief. His family, still reeling from the sudden outburst, were left shell-shocked, a silent testament to the storm that had just passed. But amidst the chaos, his anger was not aimless. It was a desperate cry for justice, a roaring demand for the return of his stolen joy. His last Oreo was more than just a cookie. It was a symbol of his bliss, a bliss now stolen and consumed. As the dust settled, the house stood still, echoing with the aftermath of Jamol's wrath. The walls bore the silent witness to a fury unleashed, a tale of a missing Oreo and a boy whose rage knew no bounds. The dawn of a new day brought no peace. Jamol, still seething, marched into his school with a storm in his eyes. Like a tempest, he swept through the hallways, a force of nature that couldn't be tamed. His wrath was indiscriminate. He confronted everyone, friends, foes, and innocent bystanders alike. Each confrontation, a spectacle of raw power and unchecked anger. His rage was a wildfire, consuming all in its path. The school's security guards, usually a formidable force, were next to cross his path. They were seasoned, hardened by years of dealing with rowdy students and schoolyard scuffles. But nothing could have prepared them for Jamol. His fury was palpable, his strength overwhelming. The guards put up a valiant fight, but it was like trying to hold back a tidal wave with a sieve. One by one they fell before him, their resistance futile against his might. Each defeat only fueled Jamol's rage further, his strength growing with every victory. His wrath had become a spectacle, a terrifying show of power that held the entire school in its grip. The students watched in a mix of fear and awe as he tore through the ranks of the security guards like a hot knife through butter. Even the bravest among them quivered in his presence. His reputation, once that of a regular student, was now transformed into something far more fearsome. His power was now unquestionable, his fury unmatched. The school had become his kingdom, and he, its unchallenged ruler. With the security guards defeated, an eerie silence fell over the school. Who could possibly stand against Jamol? As the dust settled, everyone held their breath, wondering what would come next. Little did they know, the real showdown was yet to begin. Outside, under the watchful eyes of the crowd, stood Billy, the local legend, ready to challenge the relentless Jamol. Their fists clenched, eyes locked, an electric charge of anticipation pulsated through the air. Billy, a karate bodybuilder, was renowned for his skill and experience, a local hero who had never backed down from a fight. Today, however, he faced an opponent like none other. Jamol, fueled by the anger of his last Oreo being stolen, was a force to be reckoned with. The battle commenced with a swift exchange of punches. Billy, with his karate expertise, managed to dodge and parry most of Jamol's attacks. But Jamol's fury was like a storm, wild and untamed. His punches landed like thunderbolts, shaking the ground beneath them. Billy, however, was not one to be easily defeated. He danced around Jamol, his karate moves flowing like water, a stark contrast to Jamol's brute strength. He was the embodiment of the ancient saying, "The best fighter is never angry." But every rule has its exception, and today, that exception was Jamol. Despite Billy's deft maneuvers and skilled attacks, Jamol's rage proved too powerful. As the battle reached its climax, Jamol delivered a punch so strong it resonated through the air, bringing a deadly silence. The crowd gasped as Billy took the hit, his body jerked back, and then, as if in slow motion, his mustache fell off. A symbol of his strength, the mustache's fall marked the end of a legend. Billy's mustache fell off, marking the end of a legend, but the battle was far from over. The crowd was silent, their eyes wide in disbelief. The local hero had fallen, but the storm named Jamol was still raging, ready for the next round. What came next, however, was beyond anyone's imagination. The real battle was only just beginning. From the vast expanse of the cosmos, a starman descended, determined to intervene in the earthly chaos. This was no ordinary celestial being. This was a starman, a being of unimaginable power and wisdom. There was a glint in his eye that spoke of galaxies far away and eons long gone. Before him stood Jamol, a human fueled by rage and Oreos, his fists clenched, ready to take on this new adversary. The two locked eyes, and the world held its breath. The Starman, in his celestial wisdom, saw the root of Jamol's rage. It was not anger nor hatred, but a profound sense of loss. A loss so deep it had turned into a fury that shook the earth. And so, the earth-shaking battle began. It was a clash of cosmic proportions, a spectacle of power and brute strength. The earth trembled under their feet, the sky turned a fiery red, and the air crackled with the intensity of their fight. But, in the midst of this chaos, the Starman paused. He realized that this battle, this war, was not about power or dominance. It was about something far simpler. It was about an Oreo. With a sigh, the Starman said, "So you did this because of Oreos, huh?" There was no mockery in his voice, only understanding. "Well, fine, have all the Oreos you want then." And with a wave of his hand, the unimaginable happened. Jamol, the human powerhouse, the unstoppable force, was transformed. He was no longer a man but a pile of Oreo cookies. The Starman's solution was as unexpected as it was definitive. It was a strange and poetic end to a saga of power and rage. With a wave of his hand, the Starman turned Jamol into a pile of Oreo cookies, ending the carnage. The Starman had not only saved the Earth from destruction, but also taught us a valuable lesson. Sometimes it's the smallest things that can lead to the biggest conflicts. But with understanding and a little bit of magic, even the greatest rage can be quelled. As the dust settled, the town found itself in an unexpected peace. The echoes of the earth-shattering clash between Jamol and the Starman had faded, leaving behind a calm that was almost unsettling. It was as if the world itself had taken a deep breath, collecting its thoughts before moving on. In the days that followed, the town began to heal. People slowly emerged from their homes, their eyes wide with disbelief as they took in the altered landscape. Their town, their home, had been the battleground for a conflict so immense it had shaken the very foundations of their world. But amidst the rubble and the confusion, something miraculous happened. They found unity. They found strength. And most importantly, they found gratitude. Gratitude for the Starman, the celestial being who had descended from the heavens to save them from a rage that had spiraled out of control. They hailed him as a hero, a savior. They celebrated his bravery, his power, and his generosity, for he had not just saved them from Jamol's wrath, but had also left them with a lifetime supply of Oreos, a quirky yet comforting reminder of the battle that had been fought. And then there was Billy, dear brave Billy, the karate bodybuilder who, despite being overpowered by Jamol's rage, had stood his ground, fighting with all his might. His courage was remembered, his sacrifice honored. They erected a statue in his honor, a towering figure of bronze that stood as a symbol of his strength and resilience. It was a tribute to a local legend, a testament to his bravery. In the end, the town learned a valuable lesson about the power of rage, the importance of respect, and the strange ways in which a missing Oreo can change everything. It was a lesson they would carry in their hearts, a story they would tell their children, a legacy born out of chaos, but one that held the promise of hope and unity.